I never imagined a simple yoga class could change my life in ways I wasn't even prepared for. It started as a casual decision, stress relief, a chance to stretch my muscles, maybe meet some new people. I loved the calm, the focus on breathing, the way my body felt connected with itself. But that morning, as I walked into the studio, something felt different. There was a subtle energy in the room, an intensity one hadn't noticed before, almost like the air itself was alive. The first shock came a week later, in a quiet moment at home. I was stretching in my living room, mimicking a pose from class, when I felt an unfamiliar tightness in my lower abdomen. At first, I dismissed it, just muscles, I thought, or maybe stress. But the sensation lingered, a soft, insistent warmth that seemed almost alive. Curiosity nagged at me. I went to the pharmacy, bought a test on a whim, and stepped into the bathroom, heart pounding. When the results appeared, my world exploded. 2 lines. Clear, undeniable. I was pregnant. My mind reeled. Yoga made me pregnant? That's impossible, right? Panic surged first, sharp and suffocating, followed by a strange, creeping excitement. I stared at myself in the mirror, trying to reconcile the person I was with the reality staring back at me. My body already felt different, almost anticipatory, as if it knew something was changing deep within. The first few days were surreal. Every sensation was amplified, the softness of my skin, the flutter of energy in my belly, the way my chest felt heavier, fuller. I could feel subtle shifts in my posture, in the way I moved, in the gentle rounding of my hips. Sitting at my desk, I noticed the way my reflection in the computer screen looked softer, more feminine. My cheeks were slightly rounder, my eyes seemed brighter, and even my voice had taken on a delicate lilt without me realizing it. Work became a minefield of subtle anxieties. Colleagues commented on my glow or teased me about looking tired. I laughed nervously, hiding the truth. Every whisper felt magnified. Every glance seemed loaded with meaning. Do they notice? Do they suspect? The fear of exposure clashed with an unexplainable thrill at the changes unfolding within me. At home, curiosity overtook fear. I began experimenting in private. Loose, flowing tops that moved with my body, soft fabrics that didn't constrict, skirts that hinted at the gentle curves forming. I traced my fingers over my lower abdomen, marveling at the warmth, the subtle swell, the way my body was responding to life inside me. It was intoxicating and terrifying, all at once. Makeup became a ritual. I started with blush, enhancing the roundness of my cheeks, then a soft lip gloss to highlight my lips, and finally subtle eye makeup that made my eyes seem wider and brighter. Standing in front of the mirror, I whispered, "This is you. This is real." It was a strange mix of excitement and fear. I was becoming someone new, undeniably feminine, yet deeply myself. Soon, I wanted to see how the world would react. My first public outing was terrifying. I chose a soft, stretchy dress that moved with my body, highlighting my gentle swell without drawing too much attention. Loose waves of hair framed my face, and my makeup accentuated the subtle softness of my features. Every step outside my apartment felt amplified, every glance from a passerby magnified. My heart raced, but beneath the fear, there was a thrill. The reactions were fascinating. Some people noticed, some didn't, but nearly everyone was warmer, kinder, gentler in their interactions. A stranger held the door a little longer than necessary, a cashier offered a knowing smile, a friend in a cafe whispered, "You look different. Amazing." My cheeks flushed, a rush of validation mingling with fear. This was new territory. How could people see me like this, and how did it feel so natural to want them to? At work, changes became harder to hide. My posture shifted subtly, my movements became more deliberate, my voice softer and more melodic. Colleagues whispered, some curious, some admiring. I caught glimpses of myself in reflective surfaces, the polished windows, the office monitors, and realized that even without the pregnancy being obvious, I was evolving. My presence had shifted, my identity subtly but undeniably transformed. Encouraged by these small victories, I experimented further. Maternity wear became a way to explore femininity without fear, soft fabrics that emphasized curves rather than hiding them. I practiced crossing my legs gracefully, walking with a slight sway, speaking with gentle intonations. Every experiment was a revelation, every small victory a thrill. Then came the social challenge. A weekend yoga retreat offered the perfect opportunity to test my transformation more publicly. I chose a flowing, soft dress, styled my hair with gentle waves, and applied makeup carefully. As I entered the group, every eye seemed to land on me. Whispers and curious glances swirled around. My pulse raced. Fear wanted to take over, but instead, pride surged. I was here, fully me, and the world could see it. Friends approached cautiously. "You look different," one said, hesitating. "Beautiful," another added softly. Relief and validation washed over me. I didn't need to explain, justify, or hide. The world had acknowledged my presence, my transformation, my femininity. And with each approving glance, each small affirmation, my confidence deepened. I was learning to inhabit this new persona, to move through the world as both the woman I was becoming and the person I had always been inside. Small outings became exercises in empowerment, grocery shopping, walks in the park, coffee runs. Each time, I practiced subtle gestures, crossing my legs, tilting my head, speaking softly, but now with pride and intention rather than self-consciousness. Every flutter, every kick from within reminded me that this transformation was not just external, it was intimate, emotional, and profoundly empowering. But nothing prepared me for the real confrontation. A close friend discovered my secret. Their initial shock mirrored the panic I had felt when I first saw the test. I had no idea, they whispered, voice trembling. I braced for judgment, ridicule, or rejection. Instead, they reached out, touching my arm gently. "You're beautiful. Strong. I admire this." Their words hit me like a tidal wave. Years of fear, secrecy, and self-doubt dissolved. I realized that embracing transformation fully, not hiding, not fearing, not apologizing, was the true path to empowerment. From that moment, every public interaction became an affirmation. Social gatherings, errands, even casual walks became opportunities to explore and celebrate my femininity. Pregnancy, the life growing inside me, and the physical transformation it induced were no longer secrets or sources of fear. They were symbols of strength, beauty, and self-discovery. At home, mornings became rituals of preparation. Soft robes, careful makeup, gentle hair styling. I walked deliberately, feeling every curve, every movement, every flutter of life inside me. Nights were reflective, standing before the mirror, tracing the contours of my evolving body, marveling at the warmth and power it contained. The weeks passed, and my confidence grew. I navigated the world with a new grace, blending soft femininity with the strength I had always carried. Clothing, makeup, and subtle gestures became tools of self-expression, and the world responded with warmth and admiration. Family, once hesitant, slowly adjusted, offering support instead of judgment. Friends became cheerleaders, celebrating both the pregnancy and the personal transformation it symbolized. The internal shift was the most profound. I no longer feared mirrors, whispers, or glances. I no longer questioned my identity. Standing in reflective surfaces, I saw someone strong, beautiful, and alive. Pregnancy had catalyzed this transformation, but the journey itself was about embracing vulnerability, cultivating confidence, and stepping unapologetically into my authentic self. Standing in front of the mirror one quiet night, I traced my softening curves, the gentle swell of my belly, the warmth of life growing inside me. I whispered, "You are beautiful. You are powerful. You are alive. You are her. You are me." And for the first time, I truly believed it. Transformation isn't just physical, it's emotional, psychological, and deeply empowering. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt are part of the process, but when embraced, they become catalysts for growth. Life will push you into unexpected changes, but how you respond defines your strength. I am no longer hiding. I am fully alive. I am proud. I am feminine. I am empowered. And the journey has only just begun. The first week after I found out, everything felt surreal. Even ordinary tasks seemed charged with meaning. I sat at my desk at work, trying to focus, but every movement felt heavier. Every glance at my reflection made me freeze. My cheeks looked softer, my eyes brighter, and there was a subtle roundness forming in my belly that I couldn't ignore. I kept whispering to myself, "This is real, this is happening." Colleagues started noticing small differences. "You look radiant," someone said, and I laughed nervously, hoping they didn't notice the tremor in my voice. Walking down the hallway, I caught myself swaying slightly in a way I hadn't before, and I panicked. Am I already changing this much? Fear and curiosity tangled inside me, a tight knot that wouldn't loosen. At home, I began experimenting in private. The closet became a sanctuary of discovery. Soft, flowing tops that emphasized subtle curves, skirts that moved with my body, and fabrics that didn't restrict made me feel delicate and alive. Running my hands over my abdomen, I marveled at the warmth and softness, feeling both protective and fascinated. It was intoxicating and terrifying. Makeup became a ritual of self-expression. I started with a gentle blush to accentuate the roundness in my cheeks, soft lip gloss to highlight my lips, and subtle eye makeup that made my eyes appear wider and more luminous. Standing in front of the mirror, I whispered, "This is you. You are becoming her." My reflection stared back at me, someone familiar, yet transformed, feminine, and tender in ways I had never imagined. Even small gestures felt different. Pouring a cup of tea, adjusting my hair, or picking up a book, I noticed the way my body moved, the sway of my hips, the softness in my posture. Each day revealed something new, a slight curve, a gentle swell, a more delicate voice. I was learning that this transformation wasn't just physical, it was emotional, psychological, and profoundly intimate. Nights were spent exploring further, crossing my legs with care, walking with a deliberate sway, practicing soft, melodic speech. Every small act was a discovery, a tentative step into femininity. And with every step, every glance in the mirror, I felt a mix of fear, thrill, and a growing sense of empowerment. A few weeks in, I realized I couldn't hide forever. The subtle changes were becoming more noticeable. My belly was rounding, my hips felt softer, and my posture had shifted. I picked out a soft, flowing dress that highlighted my curves without screaming for attention. My hair cascaded in gentle waves around my shoulders, and my makeup was light yet deliberate, enhancing the softness of my features. Stepping outside felt like stepping onto a stage. Every glance from passers-by seemed magnified, every whisper felt pointed. My pulse raced, but beneath the fear, there was an undeniable thrill. They see me. They notice. And I like it. The reactions surprised me. People were curious but often warm. A stranger smiled as I held the door, a cashier complimented my outfit, a friend in a cafe whispered, "You look amazing." My cheeks flushed. For the first time, I realized that embracing these changes could be exhilarating, even empowering. At work, hiding became impossible. My movements were softer, deliberate, almost rhythmic. My voice had a subtle warmth I hadn't noticed before. Colleagues whispered, looked curious, and sometimes admired. Catching glimpses of myself in reflective surfaces, the office windows, my computer monitor, I saw a version of me I hadn't fully recognized. Feminine, delicate, and undeniably alive. Encouraged, I experimented further. Maternity wear became a canvas for self-expression, soft fabrics that celebrated curves, skirts that swayed, tops that highlighted softness. I practiced walking with a gentle sway, crossing my legs gracefully, and speaking in a melodic, deliberate way. Each small success felt like unlocking a new part of myself. The real turning point came during a weekend yoga retreat. I wore a flowing dress that emphasized my new curves, styled my hair carefully, and applied makeup with a practiced hand. The moment I arrived, I felt every eye on me. Whispers circulated, glances lingered, and my pulse raced. Fear wanted to take over, but pride surged stronger. I was here, fully present, fully me. Friends approached tentatively. "You look different," one said hesitantly. "Beautiful," another added softly. Relief washed over me. I didn't need to explain or justify myself. The world had already acknowledged my transformation, my femininity, my new identity. Each compliment, each approving glance deepened my confidence. I was learning to inhabit this new persona, blending excitement with courage. Even small outings became opportunities to celebrate this transformation. A stroll through the park, a coffee run, a trip to the market, they all felt like stages where I could practice grace, femininity, and self-expression. Every movement, every flutter from within, reminded me that this journey was intimate, beautiful, and empowering. The real test came sooner than I expected. A family gathering was scheduled, a place where everyone knew the person I had been before the pregnancy, before the changes in my body and demeanor. My heart pounded as I dressed that morning. I chose a flowing, soft dress that hugged my curves gently, styled my hair in loose waves, and applied makeup to highlight the softness in my face. Every detail mattered. Walking into the living room, I felt all eyes on me. Whispers rippled through the crowd, curiosity and surprise mixing in the air. My chest tightened. Do they notice? Are they judging? My mind raced, panic threatening to overtake the pride I had been cultivating. But I reminded myself, I'm no longer hiding. I'm fully me, and that's something to embrace. The first confrontation was gentle but piercing. My sister stepped forward, eyes wide. You look different, she said softly. Wow. Relief washed over me at the lack of judgment in her tone. Instead, she reached for my hand, squeezing it. You're beautiful. I love you, and I'm proud of you. The weight of those words struck me like a tidal wave. Years of anxiety, secrecy, and fear melted away in that single moment. Friends and family came closer, offering smiles, compliments, and gestures of warmth. You're glowing, my mother said softly, her voice trembling. Even my usually reserved father nodded, a small approving smile tugging at his lips. In that instant, I realized that this transformation wasn't just about my body, it was about courage, authenticity, and allowing myself to be seen. The choice was mine. Hide the changes and remain in the shadows, or embrace them fully and confidently. I felt the life growing inside me, the warmth, the power, and the soft curves that marked the evolution of my body. Every flutter, every subtle sway of movement reminded me that this journey wasn't just external, it was intimate, personal, and empowering. From that day, my confidence flourished. Social outings became stages where I could express myself fully. Grocery runs, walks, even casual visits to the cafe became exercises in grace, femininity, and self-expression. Friends, family, and strangers alike responded with warmth and acceptance. Each compliment, each approving glance, each kind gesture reinforced the truth. Embracing transformation fully is an act of power. At home, rituals of self-care deepened. Soft robes, deliberate makeup, and gentle styling of my hair became daily affirmations. I moved through my living space with intention, aware of every curve, every gentle sway, every sign of life growing within me. Nights were spent in quiet reflection, standing before the mirror, tracing my changing body, marveling at the softness, the warmth, the undeniable femininity. Now, looking back, I understand that this journey was never just about pregnancy or the physical changes it brought. It was about discovering courage I didn't know I had, embracing a version of myself I had kept hidden, and learning to step into the world unapologetically. Every flutter, every gentle curve, every subtle sway of my body became a celebration of identity, life, and self-expression. I've realized that true transformation isn't only physical, it's emotional, psychological, and profoundly empowering. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt were all part of the process, but when faced head-on, they became catalysts for growth. Pregnancy and the changes it inspired were the starting point, but the real power came from choosing to embrace myself fully, in every way. Now, each day is a conscious celebration. I move with confidence, dress intentionally, and carry myself in ways that honor both the life growing inside me and the person I've become. Friends, family, colleagues, they see the authenticity, the strength, and the beauty. And most importantly, I see it too. To anyone feeling trapped by fear, self-doubt, or uncertainty, transformation is possible, and it can be beautiful. Life pushes us into unexpected changes, but how we embrace them defines our strength. I am no longer hiding. I am fully alive. I am proud. I am feminine. I am empowered. And the journey ahead fills me with excitement, courage, and joy.